Hello and welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman Ernest, and joining me today is Dr. Todd Freeman, Superintendent of Sylacauga City Schools. Dr. Freeman, we're excited to have you back. It's been a while since we've had you on, and so we want to get some updates on everything going on. But first of all, in your personal life, I know there's been some new happenings and additions.
Yes, we have, Summer. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. We have had a new addition. In July 23rd, our second baby was born to us, Jake, and he was born 8 pounds and 12 ounces. He's a big guy, and he continues on that track of being a big fella, but he's a sweet boy, and he and his older brother Sam have connected very well. That's been a blessing to watch. So I waited a while to start a family, but it's sure been worth the wait.
Oh, I know it has. And I know it's been a handful too, with 2 little ones under 2. But I know they're big buddies and adorable, and that y'all have just had a wonderful time getting them together and adjusting to life with 2 children, because it's definitely different.
Yes,
that's the reason we stuck with one, right?
I understand.
So I know that anybody driving through town, if you're on 21 on Broadway, you have seen that there has been some ongoing renovations and updates at what most people from Sylacauga would call the First National Bank building, Harry Brown's old building. And so what's going on there, and just fill us in on all the details.
Well, back in 2010, the city school system took a bond issue out for several projects, which included some work at the elementary schools and a large amount of work at the high school. We did a phase there that you can see from the roadside, and we're working on some additional things there as well. But another part of this round of projects was that we would be doing something with the central office, and we had given thought to building on our existing campus on 4th Street, renovating, but made a decision that we would purchase the property downtown, which is the old First National Bank. And we purchased it about this time last year and started plans, and construction started this summer, and I'm anticipating within the next month that we will occupy the 2nd floor of the building, and that will be where our central office will be, and we'll be bringing about 21 people downtown every day just to work. So that's an exciting thing. It's been fun to watch it come together.
Well, I've been excited as, proponent of revitalization downtown and on Broadway, and just to have a building that was, no longer being used. It looks great, and for so many people here in Sylacauga has special memories. I love the marble. Everything looks wonderful. I can't wait to see it, and to have people coming in downtown.
Absolutely.
I think that it's important, the visibility, even if you're coming for an interview, a teacher interview, that you have, a building that looks great, that it's near to the schools. The other one was kind of tucked away, and I felt maybe sometimes hard to find, and I know that you guys had some issues there. So when is the official move-in date?
We think in the next month. It's sometimes hard to predict that, with construction as it is, but we're comfortable that in the next month we move into the 2nd floor. Then we will start some work on the 1st floor. We're using that as a storage holding area right now.
Right.
And so we'll do some limited work downstairs as well, but we'll have a grand opening. We're planning it in January 15th, in fact. I think it'll be around 11:15 that morning. We haven't finalized that time yet, but that'll be a ribbon cutting opportunity for us, community to come in and see what it looks like. We're excited about it. We think it's a nice complement to both sides of downtown. One of the most beautiful buildings in our city is our library.
That's exactly right, inside and out.
It is, and one of the ideas that we had from the library was just the grounds themselves, a landscape feature. So part of what used to be the parking lot in our office will be a green space, and it will develop itself into somewhat of an arboretum. It'll take us a little while to put that together, but we thought it was a nice complement to what you see on the other side of Broadway with the library when you come through. So we're real excited about just doing things that we think are important to the whole economic development part of downtown.
I agree, and as opposed to, and even with the high school, starting from scratch, or you're tearing down a building, that you're using something that's there and improving it, and so it's just wonderful for everybody involved. And having those employees, so they're walking to get their coffee or to eat their lunch, and to have some green space too in that area will be beautiful. So January 15th, the ribbon cutting, we'll be looking forward to that and excited about that. I know that that's not the only construction and renovation projects you have going on. Update us on the rest.
All right. The other part of our construction work is going to be in the way of athletics. And you'll remember back in February that our voters agreed to extend a property tax for an additional 25 years, which allowed us to refinance some debt. and get some additional dollars to do athletic renovation. So we have started the work at Legion Stadium. If you drive by there in the north end zone, there's a parking lot that's going in. That same project will also light the soccer field behind Legion Stadium, so our soccer team will have 2 fields that they can play on. We just have bid a project for the visitor side building, which will be a dressing room, concession stand, and bathroom. So all our visitors that come to us will have a place on their side to do those things. And that project will start taking place. You'll start seeing some action probably in the next couple of months. We are close to bidding the home side renovation part of Legion Stadium, which will be a completely new look of the entrance area, new seating, new concessions, new press box, and then we'll follow that up later in the spring with some work on our field, enhancing the field surface. So we think over the next year we've got a lot of work still to do with the athletics part. And there's some smaller pieces of construction taking place, but one I think is important to note is that inside of all of this work, we're going to be doing some work in our auditorium at the high school. We'll be putting in new seating in the high school, new carpet. And then we'll do a sound and lighting upgrade that will occur, we're hopeful, next summer. So we've got a good bit of construction going on, but I tell you, we're so fortunate because our community supports us. Right. And the $18.5 million property tax that we have that goes toward these things allows us to do many things that many systems would not otherwise be able to, so we're very fortunate.
Well, and like I said, I feel all the time with enhancing these buildings or upgrades that it just promotes more people. We know the schools are great here in our city and in our county, but to want to live here and to send their children, and when they come for an away game and they have nice facilities for the visitors and the concession stands, that it really brings not a pride for them, but for us, that we can show it off. And so excited about that. We know the stadium has been there a long time, way back. I remember taking driver's ed in the classroom.
Upstairs.
In those classrooms up there. And so I know that structurally it needed some upgrades and aesthetically too, and that's going to be wonderful and complement the high school, which looks great. And so I guess that's called phase 3 of the high school.
Yeah, we've got a lot of different phases. You can get confused with phases if you start talking about school construction, but we have our 2010 projects. We're in our 3rd phase of that at the high school. And we'll do a 4th phase, which is the auditorium I mentioned. And then on the athletic side, we've got several phases of work we're doing. And you have to do that just to accommodate the volume of construction you're doing. And also, you still have to play soccer, you still have to play track.
Right.
You got to prepare for football season. A lot of things just don't stop because construction's going on. So all of that comes into play when you're developing
There's a lot of logistics, when you still have a huge student body and the staff that you still have to accommodate for, be it athletics or academics and classes. And so I know with phase 3, not only are you doing some of the gyms, right? We can see that there's some demolition on one side, gyms and library. What about
we're
that?
renovating both gyms at the high school, which includes the old and new, and volleyball, basketball, be able to use those in a little different formats, because the old gym we're just reshaping where the court actually is to give us home side, visitor side, and we're renovating, like I said, both sides. The library we're expanding. It will not double, but almost double in size from what it was, which is going to be a great benefit for our kids because it gives us a lot of more ability and space to do things in a media center that you want to be able to do in modern day schooling. So that's an exciting piece of that. That's going to take us through the spring, probably early summer next year, finishing up.
I'm sure. Well, and the students are going to reap the benefits. I know Mrs. Frances Dates, our former Arts Council president, is excited about that new library, and us at the library are excited to see renovations being made. I think it was much needed, and so that the students can get in there and actually use it and learn how to use it, and then it's not just looking up something on Google, that there's actually an old-fashioned way to do research as well, or to read and to cultivate that love of reading. And I know anybody who's been to basketball games or attended Sylacauga High School will be excited to see those new gyms once they get renovated.
Yeah, the whole project is a good project, and you mentioned Media Center. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that one of the things that our community has much to be thankful for is the work that Dr. Spears and her staff does in the library. And it's not it's not just an old-fashioned library, it's both. It's
Right.
got some of the old and some of the new. It's a very modern concept of how you do library, and it meets a lot of different needs if you go into a facility like that. And so we wanted to be able to emulate something like that in our schools that meets the needs of a lot of different
Right.
styles of learners.
Exactly.
So that's a good model for us.
Exactly. And I think the importance too, and something that Dr. Shirley has done, is you have to continue to evolve.
Yes.
You know, and she does on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Because things change, be it in education or at the library, and
right.
meeting the needs of our community. And
That's
I
right.
think that not only the school system, but the library continues to meet those needs
Yes.
and to change for ever-changing things going on. And so we're excited to see all of this happening. Now with the auditorium, what I'm excited is, of course, lighting and seating, all that's great, but that hopefully that will continue to promote fine arts, which I know is a passion of yours.
Yeah. You know, the arts are important, and I would say most any time I'm asked about it, the arts are alive and well in Sylacauga. That's not the case throughout the nation. In budget times, when it can be as difficult as they've been the last several years in education, arts many times gets put to the side. We think it's a priority. I think it is an incredibly important part of the creative skill building, problem solving skills that we want children to have. And while they may not major in a fine arts in college or do something like that professionally, it's the skills and things you learn from it that are important. So we're wanting to grow our fine arts programs from where they are now. We have art and music in our elementary schools, and we have music, art, and music being band and choral and art at the high school, and theater, and we want to expand all of those. And so we're looking at ways that we can do that, the ways that we can incorporate the experts in our community that we have, and we've got a lot of them in different parts of the performing arts that we want to bring together to really enhance the program. So one of the benefits of where we live is that we've got a community that values the arts.
Yes.
And that's only going to help the schools. Arts Council's always been supportive, the library's always been supportive, but there are those out there. SAFE has recently begun working with the dance studio in town, and they're experts there in dance and ballet. We have a local theater company that performed,
Community
that's right,
Playhouse,
that performed recently. And so there's just obvious opportunities for the school system to enhance its program and do a lot of things for kids we hadn't been able to do in the past.
Right, definitely. Well, and I think having the facilities is one of the first steps to actually be able to have productions there. Is super important. And I know the play that we just recently completed with the Sylacauga Community Playhouse, then we were able to do performances for the school children. And so once again, that might be their only opportunity to see theater or drama or musical theater, and then once they get to high school, they're ready to take that class or to take, you know, a vocal class or show choir. And I know that with Mr. Martez Tidwell, that he's really been growing the program at the high school, and kids are excited about it.
They are. We had a veterans program just recently, well, in fact, it was earlier this week, and the choral company performed and the women's chorale performed, did a great job. And in a year's worth of time, they've made just great progress, and we're just only going to build that program.
Right. Well, and I say, why not in Sylacauga? You know, I've taught, you're from bigger school systems as well, where those, you know, they've had these going on for quite some time, theater and show choir, and it's so popular nowadays. Why can we not have it in Sylacauga City schools? We have the talent here, we've seen it, and so I'm excited that it's something that you support. Because like you said, a lot of times people feel that that's not important, when for some people that is their best way to, you know, exhibit their talents or to create, you know, some kind of passion to further their education.
That's right.
So we're excited about that, and I know that in plans, of course, Mr. David Simpkins, we're going to be very sad to lose him this year. What a legacy the Simpkins family is for band and for music here in Sylacauga, but that hopefully that will start in, we'll still have the band, right, at the middle school level as well?
We will. We'll have band and choir at the middle school, and we think we'll be able to expand. We know we're going to be able to expand, in fact, at the high school, the offerings that we have in our instrumental and in our vocal side, and we hope to be able to expand it in some of our other performing arts areas, and that's just a concept of things we're working on. I would say once again that one of the benefits of having a person like David Simpkins in town is he still will be working at the Methodist Church. He and his father are still here, excellent musicians. We have so many resources locally that can support our schools and know that want to continue to do it. So we
Right.
want to tap into that
For
expertise.
Sure. Exactly. Well, Dr. Freeman, we're going to take a quick break,
All right.
and when we come back, we will continue to discuss the exciting things going on here in Sylacauga and with the city school system.
In Central Alabama, 9,100 kids face going to bed hungry tonight. Hunger doesn't take a day off. There are kids right here, right now, that don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Alabama Childhood Food Solutions and help put an end to childhood hunger in Central Alabama. Make a difference. Donate today, by mail or online, to help ACFS feed hungry kids. There's no better time to share than now. Their next meal could come from you.
Any meal, anytime, it's a Huddle House on Highway 280. From the popular Huddle House signature waffle to our big house breakfast, including gravy and biscuit and loaded hash browns, it's a Huddle House. Try our Philly cheese steak omelet. It's a sure hit, too. Our big house sandwich combos include Huddle burger and country fried steak. And for lunch or dinner, it's the often requested chopped steak with mushroom gravy. Starting to get hungry? Head to the Huddle House. Our friendly and experienced team await you. Huddle House, Highway 280, any meal, anytime.
At Marble City Pharmacy, we're more than just a drugstore. Our gift shop boasts some of the most unique treasures you'll find anywhere. Come in and browse the vast selection of jewelry, purses, clothing accessories, and crafts. Let our friendly staff help you find that special card or gift for any occasion. Our dollar wall features selected sale items, and we stock a wide variety of specialty items. And if it is a drugstore you need, Marble City Pharmacy was named the 2015 McKesson National Pharmacy of the Year. Visit us today at Marble City Pharmacy.
Since 1935, the Collins family has been the automobile business in Sylacauga. Bobby and Anderson Collins carry on that tradition today at Stop and Shop Auto Sales. Select from late model cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our vehicles do not go on the lot until they are thoroughly inspected by our experienced mechanics. At Stop and Shop Auto Sales, we offer a 30-day warranty on all our inventory. Family owned and operated for 4 generations. Stop and Shop Auto Sales, 230 West 1st Street in Sylacauga.
Hello and welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman Ernest, and joining us today is Dr. Todd Friedman, Superintendent of Sylacauga City Schools. We've been talking about a lot of the physical buildings, the renovations that are going on. Something that's going to be happening really soon in the future is, of course, moving into the new central office on Broadway, which we're really excited about. And all of the renovations, athletic renovations, and things going on at the high school with a fine arts program, which is exciting as well. And hopefully that we're going to continue to see more collaboration with the community, with the Sylacauga Community Playhouse and dance studios, and why not use the expertise of the people we have here in our city to further that education, because you know teachers have enough on their plate as it is to try to learn some other trade to teach. So that's really exciting. But I know there's also exciting things going on at the elementary schools and even into the middle school with some new academic programs.
Yeah, we've had some exciting things happening this year, and you know, I've said many times that we're fortunate as a community that we've got a very supportive community that values education. We have many retired teachers here that make sure education remains a priority, and I even heard in our Veterans Day program from one of our great veterans who emphasized so much to the kids the value of education. So we know this is a given, and it's just a standard in our community. We always want to keep improving, however, and so we've been working on some things this year. If you go into our kindergarten through 2nd grade school, Indian Valley, you'll see some incredible things happening with students learning how to read, and that is the pivotal age for reading. It is incredibly important. We did some changes to our master schedule that allows us to spend a lot more time just in reading, and I'm seeing some incredible work taking place in collaboration of teachers to help our kids become better readers. I think that's fantastic. You're seeing the same things happening in reading and math at the middle school and at Pinecrest. So those are exciting. Schedule adjustments sometimes can be a little bit difficult, and you have to sacrifice a little bit to get something, but we really have decided that reading, writing, and arithmetic are the most important things we need to be doing. So we're spending a lot of time in those, more so than ever. To do that. So that's exciting. But supplementing that are other things that we think are important. And you hear the acronym STEM mentioned a great deal in education circles today, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So STEM-related fields are the fastest growing fields in terms of career choices in our nation, and we want to be adaptable to that. So we have implemented some things this year. One of the programs is the Alabama Math, Science, Technology Initiative that we refer to as AMSTI. We have been trained in that and are implementing what is a project-based or hands-on type learning experience for science students at the middle school. Next year we will move that down into the elementary school, and that's an exciting thing. We also started a Project Lead the Way, which is another science, technology, engineering, math initiative that we had at the high school in pre-engineering, but this year we added biomedical science at the high school.
Wow.
We added Project Lead the Way, which is called the Gateway program, and it's a pre-engineering program at the middle school, and we also have it at the 5th grade in what's called the Launch program. So we're wanting to continue to expand those things that have a science, technology, engineering, and math focus, and that's an exciting piece, and it complements what we're doing in the fine arts because it too is an exercise that allows for creative thinking, problem solving, critical thinking skills. You have to collaborate and work together.
Right.
So there's a lot of what we call 21st century skills that we are really emphasizing in these programs.
Well, and I think for anyone who's not been in education or in the classroom, first of all, what you said with the elementary level, it is essential that you do focus on reading.
Yes.
So many times I would get high school students, and guess what? You can't teach them biology or anything else if they don't have this
Absolutely.
foundation
That's right.
of reading and excellent reading skills. So that's extremely important. And of course, science is dear to my heart, science and math. And I know with a lot of those programs, I've had some experience with it. It's an exciting way
Yes.
to teach. There's no longer those days of you opening up to chapter 1 and multiple choice, because guess what? Life is not multiple choice test questions. And so they
Right.
need to learn how to do critical thinking, how to solve problems to further any career path,
That's
even
right.
if it isn't in technology or science or math.
I think what we can do more than anything when we're talking about what teaching looks like today and what learning looks like, we're thinking a lot more about how to think instead
Right.
of teaching them what to think.
Right.
Because technology today gives our students the capabilities to go read and learn about anything they want to.
That's exactly
It doesn't
right.
require a teacher to feed information anymore.
Right.
So we're not just disseminating information now. The challenge for us is how can we differentiate from anybody else and say it's not just information you know, but how to use it.
Right.
Programs like AMSTI, Project Lead the Way, those type programs, career technical programs that we have that have been so strong for many years, those teach the how.
Right.
And we want to take that to scale in all of our classes and all of our schools, and I'm seeing really good progress there.
Definitely. There's no longer teacher-centered classrooms.
It's
It is
not.
student-centered,
That's right.
and the teacher is just the facilitator,
That's right.
which is exciting on all fronts. I agree with you. And so I know that at the high school that you do dual enrollment,
Yes.
right, programs. What is that?
Yeah, dual enrollment is growing exponentially, I think is probably the best way to say it, throughout our state and nation. Basically, when you take a dual enrollment course in high school, you get credit for the high school course and a similar college course. So you can leave high school with already having college credits. And we have a fantastic relationship with Central Alabama Community College, and we offer manufacturing technology classes that are dual enrollment. So you can take classes that are in electricity, in programmable logic controls, and in robotics. And that's outstanding because that also meets a lot of the needs of our local business and industry
Definitely.
and workforce development. It gives students credit for courses as they start at university. When you complement dual enrollment with the potential of advanced placement programs where students take a course during the year and then they can take a test at the end of the year to
Right.
get credit for college, we're wanting to expand those. To me, this is very much a financial issue for our parents because
Yes.
the more we can get credit for students in high school that's dual enrollment, the more it benefits them when they walk out the door. Nobody has to tell anybody else how expensive college
No,
is and
heavens
what's
no.
happening with student debt.
Right.
So I see it as a fundamental imperative, a moral imperative almost, for us to be offering more opportunities for students to get ahead.
Right, and the students understand that you are saving thousands of
Yes.
dollars in courses that
That's
can
right.
already, you already have credit for, or preparing a student, upon high school that he already knows what kind of career he wants to go into and has already been trained in that. And
That's
like you
right.
said, for some local industries
That's
here,
right.
that's important. Well, I know that you also have been recently recognized by Dr. Bice with your Saturday Success Program.
Yes, back in the late summer, Dr. Bice and his team asked schools across the state to submit what he referred to as innovative practices. We have a lot of them, but I chose one in particular because it doesn't get a lot of attention. And anytime you say Saturday school, that may sound like it's a bad place to go,
right.
But our Saturday school is not that way. We call it Success on Saturdays, and it's been around for several years. And Success on Saturday basically is students can come to the school, they can catch up on assignments, they can work and get ahead on assignments, they can work with teachers on things that they're having trouble with in class. And at the same time, we can transport them there and back using our school buses. And they also get a balanced, nutritious breakfast and lunch. So that's a great Saturday thing. And it really is a program where students want to come to it.
Right.
It's not one of those where they're seen not to. I've seen a letter from one of our little students from Pinecrest that was just begging our principal to come and how he would behave if he got to be there. So they see it as an incentive to be there, and that's a positive thing. That's when I think you're doing something innovative.
Definitely.
When you have children who actually want to be at school on a Saturday morning.
Well, and just to have that opportunity, because so many times you see if a kid even had to be absent or once they get behind, sometimes they get so, they give up. But if they know that they have this opportunity to catch up or to have that one-on-one help with maybe something they're struggling with, and in the regular classroom setting, they don't feel comfortable asking for help, that they can succeed. And so what a perfect name for it, because it does help to promote that success. I know that there's a lot going on in the city schools, but you actually have a life other than that, a very busy community life and involvement in the community, and I see you everywhere. It continues. I know you get pulled in so many different directions, but what are some of your other activities in the community?
Well, I'm learning a lot, and I hope to model lifelong learning with anybody that I work with anybody that I socialize with, because I think that's an important thing that we do. I think we're challenged to always be lifelong learners, so we've got an opportunity to do that. I serve as the president of the Rotary of Sylacauga. That's been a great opportunity. I work with some fantastic business and industry leaders in the community, and it helps me learn from them, and that helps my work as well. So, and they're veterans. They are legends in town. They've been around for a long time, and just solid leaders in the community. So that's been a great opportunity for me. I serve on the SAFE Board of Directors, and of course I think everybody understands the fantastic work the SAFE Board does in the community, and so that's been a great opportunity as well. I'm on the Arts Council. I'm not on the board of that, but support the Arts Council, and I think
but
it's
your wife is
important.
On the board.
Yes,
So.
and, my wife is a secretary on the board and loves doing that, and so that's a great opportunity for us as well. I do serve on the Chamber Board in the community, and we've got some great things I think happening in our chamber. I'm really excited about the direction that goes. I serve on the Easter Seals Board for Talladega County, which gives me a really unique insight into what's happening in at the AIDB in Talladega. That is a fantastic program. So a lot of it really is just a privilege for me, because I don't have to do a lot of work as much as I get to learn and take in and learn from those that have been leaders in our community for a long time.
Well, and that can only help you in your job, and as opposed to just staying in the classroom, sometimes you had to see some other things going on as well. And I know that you are so very talented musically, and for anybody who has not heard you either sing or play the piano, that recently there was an FBLA event at the Sylacauga High School for Mrs. Christy Kane in raising monies for the ALS, and I know that they did a wonderful job in raising over $20,000, I think it was, and so you shared your musical talents there. For anyone that was at the event, it was wonderful, and it's sometimes nice to see you, let loose a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've never been accused of being overly excitable. I think cool and level-headed maybe that's not the best terms that you might use, but I enjoyed that event mainly because it was a privilege to get to do it, and there were some very special parts of that evening that were important. But I would tell you that educators influence students in ways that they may not realize until sometime later after they retire. And in this case, that's what happened with Christy. There were a lot of people that came back. There were students that came back, former pastor that came back and spoke and honored her. And I always think about Mr. Holland's Opus, that movie, and how they honored the character at the end when he was retiring. I thought that was fantastic. Well, this is just an example of the power of educators in Sylacauga. That was a great tribute to Christy.
That's so true. Well, and I know that there's other ways that we can find out your blog blog is something that I love to follow. How can people find that?
Yeah, go to mtfreeman.blogspot.com. You can find it also on our website.
Yeah, and Facebook, I know there's a Sylacauga City Schools Facebook page. That's a wonderful way to see it, and we see it in the newspaper occasionally too.
Right.
Dr. Freeman, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
We are just proud to have you in this community and excited to see what the future holds.
Thank you, Summer.